Hello there, my name is favour, and now we'll unveil the top news of recent days. The United States Senate voted for a package bill that includes $60 billion to support Ukraine. The document was supported by 70 senators out of the required 60. The draft law, which combines funds for aid to Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan and humanitarian aid, is being considered without the part that deals with the thorniest issue of the southern border of the United States, after the original bill was blocked by Republicans.
Сенат проголосував за.
The Senate has just voted to continue the support of our country and our warriors. This is a decision that we have worked very hard for, a decision that has been awaited not only by us, but by many other nations, particularly in Europe. The world is waiting for American leadership to remain steadfast and help protect lives and preserve freedom. This truly contributes to confidence and motivation. I thank Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Republican Leader Mitch McConnell for their determination and morally strong choice. Democracy will surely prevail.
This was the first step. The next one is the House of Representatives and vote of congressmen there. We expect a positive decision. We hope for principled support and believe that America will continue to be a leader. I'll remind you that the decision related to Ukraine was considered within 2 months, and former US President, one of the main candidates in the next elections, Donald Trump, wants the United States to stop giving aid to Ukraine and other countries. On the Truth social network, Trump wrote, "We must never again give money without hope of return or without certain conditions. The United States must no longer be stupid." Well, as I said in previous episodes, the choice of the President of the United States is the decision of the American people. Ukraine will cooperate with any president, regardless of their party affiliation, regardless of the election results. United States support will not weaken and will only increase, since Ukraine's victory over Russian aggression is a national, not a party interest. Ukraine has always valued strong bipartisan support in the United States, and we hope that it will continue because the topic of support for Ukraine has always been a topic that unites Democrats and Republicans. The United States has provided comprehensive support to the Ukrainian people and contributed to the strengthening of international sanctions against the aggressor country from the very beginning of the armed aggression of Russia since 2014. The EU Council approved a resolution making it possible to use the profits from the frozen Russian assets in favor of Ukraine. Western sanctions have frozen approximately $300 billion of Russian assets. Most of them are in EU countries.
At the moment, 260 billion euros of assets of the Central Bank of Russia are frozen in the jurisdictions of the G7 partners, the EU and Australia, and more than 2/3 of them are in the EU. The decision adopted by the Council of the EU clarifies, in particular, the legal status of the income that central depositories receive from the use of Russian assets. This opens the way for the use of profits from frozen Russian assets for the benefit of Ukraine. Irina Mudra, Deputy Minister of Justice of Ukraine.
For example, Belgium has already announced the provision of more than 600 million euros of military assistance to Ukraine from funds accumulated from interest and profits from Russian assets. Russian aggression has caused and continues to cause significant damage to Ukraine. In addition, Russia illegally misappropriated Ukrainian property seized in the temporarily occupied territories, as well as the assets of Western countries that remain in this territory, basically stolen. Using frozen assets of Russia to rebuild Ukraine is a fair and expedient decision. The aggressor must compensate for the damage caused. We welcome new developments vis-à-vis arresting and reappropriating Russian frozen assets abroad, the part of the United States in particular and the G7 in general. Using the aggressor's money to mend the harm incurred to Ukraine would be a historic lesson to all aggressors and the highest form of political and human justice. For far too long, Russia used some countries as a safe haven for its partially ill-gotten money. This has to change. Neither Russia's finances nor its real estate nor other forms of material and immaterial assets can be safe as long as Ukrainian cities and villages are unsafe, damaged or reduced to rubble. Frozen Russian assets will be used for the reconstruction and recovery of our country, in particular in the areas which were damaged the most since the full-scale invasion. There are funds that otherwise would be spent for Russia's military needs and further terrorist attacks. And who can be sure that these attacks will be only on Ukraine and not on other European countries? Do you know what verbal equilibrium is? This is any interview of a Russian politician. It already happened with Putin and Tucker. Now it happened again with the permanent representative of Russia to the UN, Vasily Nebenzya. In an interview with the BBC channel, the number of lies was such that the lie meter did not leave the red zone. Although if you describe the whole interview in a few words, it will sound like, "Where's your evidence?" And in fact, according to Nebenzya, the wreckage of North Korean missiles and Iranian drones after Russian attacks are not evidence at all. Previously and now, all the atrocities in Bucha, Irpin and Izium are not evidence but a staging. The real evidence is only his words, Putin's lies and documents approved by the Kremlin, which violate all possible international agreements, but at the same time are considered inviolable.
There can be no negotiation on the topic of new regions with Ukraine. They have already become part of the Russian Federation. The job is done. We are not ready to negotiate this. Vasily Nebenzya, permanent representative of Russia to the United Nations, in the interview with BBC.
By the way, this is the standard procedure for Russia. Capture as much as possible, get a foothold, and then repeat the same scene in a few years. They did it in Donbass in 2014 and in 2022. If we allow Russia to do it now and listen to the words of many negotiators that it is necessary to freeze the war in Ukraine, then do not be surprised that in a few years the Kremlin will decide to fulfill all its goals in Ukraine and capture all territory, because these official phrases about denazification and denationalization are ordinary words for cover. The real goal of the Russians is the destruction and capture of Ukraine. The more, the better for them. And if they also seize part of Poland, the Baltic states, or the Black Sea, Putin will be happy. That concludes our today's video. Thank you for watching. Stay updated, comment, like, and subscribe to our UATV channel for more news from Ukraine. Your support is it really matters. Goodbye.